This is another case where like the game isn't very good, but my nostalgia kind of overpowers it and makes me feel like it's better than it is. I think that's the case for a lot of the games on this list, and a lot of the games that are nostalgic to a lot of people. But this is Vex, and this is by Acclaim Entertainment. And I never heard of them before, so I don't imagine they did many things. Maybe they did, but as far as I can tell, they didn't. And Vex was a thing where it tried to be dark, but it was a platformer, so it wasn't. It was really weird. It was on the GameCube, the Xbox, and the PS2, but as a lot of the games on this list were, it was on PS2. Released in 2003, and like I said, it was a platformer, and it was where you had to just collect little objects, much in the vein of Jak and Daxter and other games like that. You collected objects, progressed to the next level, and got like little upgrades and stuff. It was just so weird though. I remember it being like really lonely like, as a game. Like I think it's because there was like weird sounds in it. It was like really eerie and stuff like that. And I don't remember when I played it. I mean, it was out 2003, but I don't know if I played it when it was out. But it was a really weird game. But it was a good game. I liked it. A lot of people say it was samey, but I disagree. I thought it was fun, especially at the time that I played it, which let's say it was when I was 5. Fucking knows, but let's just go with 5. Now this one's probably like a weird kind of blip on the list, but this is Castlevania Curse of Darkness, and this is like the only Gothic game that I played early on. But I did like it, I liked it a lot actually, yeah. It was kind of hack and slash thing, sort of like Maximo, but much darker. And it was like kind of action adventure as well. It was released in 2005, and it had a really big basis on kind of companions. Little devil things that you could collect. There was like fairy types, battle types, bird types, sort of akin to Pokemon. I never played Pokemon as a child, but it's sort of similar to that. And I don't know why I liked it so much. I didn't get very far in it. I don't think I got very far at all, but I just remember it. Like, I remember playing it, and I remember it as being this really big game, but I think it was just too difficult. I did like play it. I could manage to play it for a little bit, but I think I got stuck on a certain part. I did play Devil May Cry as well, but I played that a little bit later on, and I don't think that's nostalgic really. Like I did play the first one actually. I played the first one, the second one, the third one. I played all the Devil May Crys, but I think Castlevania, I prefer it as a game. I don't even think the two games can be compared, Devil May Cry and Castlevania. I think they're kind of different. I don't know, I just preferred Castlevania for whatever reason, because it was darker, and maybe because Devil May Cry was cheesy or something, I'm not sure. I mean, I was young at the time, so I didn't really understand what was going on, but I think I had the little pet thing, and I think that's one of the reasons I liked it so much. But hey ho, Castlevania is going on the list, because it is nostalgic. I remember it quite well, and quite fondly. This one explains a lot about my childhood. Katamari Damacy, I think I'm saying that right, is a Japanese game where you play a little guy with a weird shaped head picking up rubbish on a giant ball. And it had like weird music, and if you died then this king would shoot you with laser beams, and had this weird art style. There was like cows you could pick up, there was like children you could pick up with your ball. It was so fucking weird. Have you ever seen Nobby Nobby Boy on the PS3? It's made by the same guys who made that, but it's just a fucking mindfuck. God knows why I bought it. You just roll around this ball picking up shit, but it's just so weird. Like the music and the feel and the whole vibe of the whole game just make it fucked up. And I don't know why it's nostalgic, why I remember it so much, but I just remember like showing my friend this game saying, like, look at this, it's so weird. And I fucking played it for longer than I'd like to admit. Try to pick up those little objects with a ball. So strange. Why? It was made by Namco. I think they made some weird games as well. And directed by Kita Takashai. It's no difference to me who directed it, I don't know who he is, but I imagine he had some pretty fucked up childhood memories. And thanks to him, so do I. This one's probably an obscure reference, or at least to my knowledge it's an obscure reference, because no one I know knows what this game is, apart from the friend that I played it with. And it's called The Legend of Kay. You play as a ninja cat who has to try and save frogs and shit. It's fucking weird. It's a ninja cat. It's like a Kung Fu Panda before Kung Fu Panda was a thing, because it's Kung Fu Cat. But it was a great game. Again, I didn't own this game, my friend did, but it's still nostalgic. It's made by Capcom again. It's made by Joe Wood Productions and Capcom. But Capcom seem to be making another appearance, and I don't know if this game was reviewed as a good game or a bad game, but I certainly thought it was good. I never really finished it, I only played a few levels because obviously I didn't own it. But Legend K was a very good game. It was just sort of free roam. I mean, you could free roam in the certain areas, but you couldn't exactly go to different areas than the ones you were allocated. But yeah, it was a great game, and I think the story was awesome as well. Maximo. Now, I never actually owned this game, which is weird, but it doesn't make it any different. I went to my friend's house, played this game, and ever since it's been stuck in my memory for whatever reason. I don't even know if it was that good, and I think a lot of the games on this list aren't that good. The nostalgia makes it seem like it's better. So Maximo, or if you're in the US, it was called Maximo Goes to Glory, even though it's the first one, which made little to no sense, but whatever. It's like a kind of hack and slash type game on the PS2. A lot of these are on PS2 as well, and it was like a kind of platformer. Sort of like in the same vein as Jak and Daxter, but it was different to Jak and Daxter because you kind of fight the undead, and it had the same kind of art style, kind of cartoony art style, but it did feel like a different game because when you got hit, you would lose your armor and you would get down to like where you just had pants on, which was pretty fucking weird in itself. But it was just so good. It was like a kind of like nod to the old games, but it had like a lot of new features, so the people who picked it up would know it was kind of new and wouldn't get bored of it. And when I played it, I just thought it was the best game ever. I remember staying up to like 5 in the morning playing Maximo, trying to get past the first level. I just had no idea what I was doing. I was a fucking idiot back then. Or less of an idiot than I am right now, but it was just the best game ever. It was so good. It was so good. Like, fond memories of that game. You know, it's one of those games you'll never forget for whatever reason. And I don't even think it was a special game, so to speak. I just think it was like the time that I played it, and that just when I played it, just made it seem so good. Maximo, fucking awesome. Might actually play that game again soon as well. I think a lot of these games deserve to be like kind of revisited. Not only because a lot of them are good, but because a lot of them will offer nostalgia. And in the new year, that's the thing you need. And it was made by Capcom, so I mean like they made a lot of the old games. So I mean that has that kind of old feel about it, and it has that kind of genuine feel about it because it's made by Capcom, and they're a kind of very renowned company now, and they were a renowned company then as well. It was released in 2001, but I didn't play it when it was out because I wouldn't have known about fucking 4 or 3. I mean, I wouldn't be playing it then. I wouldn't have known how to pick up a controller. But I think I played it like a few years after it was out, and I think it was just something that my friend had in his house, and we just said, "Oh, I'll play this," and it was just an awesome game. Oh, it was so good, amazing. I would say 10 out of 10. It would be the top of the list if it was 10 out of 10, so it's not 10 out of 10, but it's still good. Now this one's very nostalgic indeed. This is SSX. I think we played SSX Tricky, but SSX as a whole kind of series of games is very nostalgic because we had like SSX 3 that I played, we had SSX Tricky, all those SSX games, and I don't know why I liked it so much, but I just kept buying it. I mean, the snowboarding didn't attract it to us, but I think I was gifted it. I think I was given it as a present, and I just fell in love with the game. It's like an arcadey type snowboarding game, and I just remember like whenever someone would come around, we'd always play that. Like the game itself got really good reviews, and a lot of people love it. I think it kind of went downhill after SSX on tour, but the earlier games, the ones that I played, were very good, and I remember this game fondly. Problem is though, I don't really like going back to games because obviously you think they're better than they are because of the whole nostalgia thing. But I think in this case, this is a game where it was indeed very good. I remember like just going around free roaming, and it was just awesome. It was a great game of free roam on because you could go on slopes, and there was never a game in my knowledge like that, apart from one of the games that was on the Windows 98 thing, where you just like went down this 2D thing. I don't remember what the game was called. It's probably the most obscure reference in the world. But my gran had it on her computer where you're a little pixel and you had to avoid yetis and trees. And that probably got me into the snowboarding games. And then SSX kind of built upon that early memory of that little game. But SSX is definitely a great game, and it's awesome. Now this one's definitely an old game. It's one that I played quite early on in my childhood, and this is Sly Cooper. Now I played this as soon as it was out. Like, I went to like the release of this game, and I wanted to play it. God knows why. I think I was in the shop the the day it was released. So I didn't actually go looking for it, but it was kind of like a happy accident that I found it and I played it. And it was a really good game. The art style was amazing, and it was one of the first games that had like any narrative that I played. I played this around the same time as Jak and Daxter 1, but I think like this was a really good game because it had stealth, and I love stealth games. But I think this was like one of the first, if not the first, stealth game that I played, where you had to try and avoid people, and it had the whole kind of stealing stuff type of thing. And again, it had animals. Don't know why I liked animal games so much, but hey ho, I think that proves that was a thing with The Legend of Kay and all those weird ones. Why did I like animal games so much? It's a pretty weird fetish. Anyway, you played as like Cooper, who was like a well-known thief who had a family of thieves, and you had to go around and try to steal like little parts. I can't remember much of the narrative, but you had to steal like little items from people, and then like the second game and the third game built upon that. And there was like the Thieves Raccoonus, where you had to get this big book, and there was all these different things. And actually, the whole series is just a really, really good kind of nostalgic overload. I don't remember the whole game, but I remember like certain parts. Like there's a chicken boss in China. There's a part where you have to fight an owl, like the owl on Bioshock Infinite, and you have to jump from part to part. Like the situation is that you're on a blimp, and the blimp explodes. But as it explodes, you have to jump from like bit to bit on the debris. And I just remember that part so well because it was like innovative. It was like the first part that I saw where you could like jump from the debris as you were falling, and it was just so fucking good. This game was awesome, and a lot of people agreed actually. I think they got like 85 and 87, stuff like that. So it didn't get perfect scores, but certainly by no means it was a bad game. And yeah, I thought it was a great game. Now I know how shit this game is. I fucking hated this game with a passion, but I hated it so much that I can't forget it. It's a curse. This is hurdy-gurdy. Now if you knew me and you're watching this video, if you knew me in primary school and you'd been my friend, you would have played this as well and we would have laughed at this for ages. This game is the worst game of all time in my opinion. It's fucking shit. You play it as a shepherd who has to hunt chickens, but he's getting hunted by bears. So you're hunting chickens around the place, but they're not chickens. Oh no, they're like these little fucking pink things that you need to chase, and it's about herding animals, right? What person thinks that herding animals is a good thing in games? That's the one thing you don't want to do in games. Jak and Daxter. Worst part of Jak and Daxter Precursor Legacy is when you have to herd the yaks. Do you know why? Because they don't do what you fucking tell them to do. Alright, now take that idea and make a game out of it. No, fucking don't do that, mate. That's the worst game ever. I don't even know how I got this game. I don't know where I got it from. I don't know how I got it from. But it's like Jumanji, right? It's like Jumanji. You find it in the street and you're cursed for fucking life. Because this is the worst game ever. It was so frustrating. It was so annoying. But I didn't want to let it defeat us. So I would play this game that I didn't like, just to say that I finished it. And I just hated it so much. So all you did is herd little sheep, herd little animals, herd little chickens. And there was these bears you had to avoid, and the art style got on my nerves, and the music got on my nerves, because I'd play it against my own will to finish the cunt, and it was just so shit. I hated it so much. And like everybody I knew would insist that I play it when they came over, just to piss us off. They'd say like, oh, I don't want to play Jak and Daxter today, do you want to play hurdy-gurdy? I'd be like, fuck off. I hate that game. And they wouldn't buy it. Oh no, because they didn't fucking like the cunt. They just made me buy it and play it because they knew that I would hate it more than they would hate it. Evil bastards. It's made by Adios, the Hitlers of the gaming universe. Well, I mean, maybe not, but they are now, since I found out that they made hurdy-gurdy. And it was on PS2, released in 2002, right? A lot of the millions say that the world should have ended in 2012. No, it should have ended in 2002 when this Hunt of a game came out. Hated it so much. On the kind of game ranking things, it got like 69 and 69. I think 69 was like a unanimous thing, and it was a straw that a lot of people gave it. But I just have to say that, mate. It's fucking shit. Like even thinking about the game is gonna give us a fucking hemorrhoid or something. It's terrible. It's terrible. I didn't finish the cunt. Never got the chance. Couldn't withdraw the whole thing. Couldn't endure it. You can tell how annoyed it made us. Because it's just shit. It's shit. Who likes to herd animals? You have to just herd them into different pens. It's it, that's it. That's it. It's... Why? Why was it made? Why? Not all nostalgia things are good. Some of them are hurdy-gurdy. Second to last is Ratchet and Clank. Now, a lot of people played this game. It's well known. I think, like, I don't know one person who doesn't know about it. But this was made by Insomniac Games, and it's a puzzle platformer again. I think puzzle platformers were a really big thing on PS2, and therefore a really big thing in my childhood. But Ratchet and Clank was that you played as a Lombax, and you had to try and... Well, the whole thing was that you played as a Lombax, which was like this kind of weird animal species. I know animals make another appearance, it's fucking weird, but you played as a Lombax, who was like this furry alien, and as he was repairing his little ship, a little robot called Clank fell out the sky, and he said, like, help me team up. So you want to team up, and you have to go find Quark, who's like this hero who isn't really a hero, and there's this guy who has like penis for a head, who's trying to destroy the planets and stuff. It's just so good. A lot of people like Ratchet and Clank and say it is the best game on PS2 and one of their favourite games after their childhood, like in terms of nostalgia, especially in my age group. A lot of people think that Ratchet and Clank is the best nostalgic game, but it is a good nostalgic game, but not my favourite. Because it is subjective. Like, nostalgia depends on what you played, you know what I mean? It depends on the situation. And Ratchet and Clank, although I did play it, doesn't hold the nostalgia that the next game holds. Because the next game wasn't just the game that I played, it was a game that everybody I knew played. Are you ready? You'll know what it is. You'll know what the next one's going to be if you've ever seen any of my videos, because I fucking rave on about it every 2 minutes. That's right, the top nostalgia game for me is Jak and Daxter. Oh, this is the best game ever. This is fucking the best game ever, right? This is it's so good. It's so good. A lot of people who I know think the Ratchet and Clank's better, but to them I say fuck off. Jak and Daxter as a series is just so nostalgic. Like, I can remember everybody I knew used to play Jak 1 and would say like, what part are you up to? Are you up to the fisherman part? And then they'd say like, oh, I'm stuck. And would go to each other's houses to help with certain parts. So like, I was terrible at the fisherman part, so my friend William would come over and help me with the fisherman part, right? But then like, Will was quite bad at I think it was the plant part, so I would go help him with the plant part. And it didn't become like, it wasn't just a game, it was like a whole community effort. It was like, we would go to each other's houses and help each other play certain parts, and it would just like, that's all we talked about for years. And like, Jak 1 lasted so long, we played it many times. Jak 2 came out, we still talked about it. Jak 3 came out, we still talked about it. And we were just like, oh, it was so good, because it was just like, it wasn't just a game. I was about to say it's a way of life, that's a fucking cheesy thing ever. It's not just a game, it was the one game that like everybody played. And it was an offline game, it wasn't even multiplayer. But it just had this kind of feel about it where everybody could play it, and everybody I knew did play it. And it's just the first game I remember that I really had a connection with, and when I finished it, it was just like so good, because it was like an achievement. And I don't think I'd finished many games before Jak and Daxter. And Jak and Daxter was one of the first games I finished, and I just felt like, yes, completed it. Like, that achievement of being the first game that you completed, or one of the first games that you completed, also just adds to it, because you're like, yes. Like, finishing a game, that doesn't mean anything. That's a fucking, it's like getting the fucking purple medal for taking part, right? It doesn't make a difference. But I mean, being the first one that you finish, it was just so good. Jak and Daxter, story driven, awesome. The platforming, just awesome. So good, so good. I'm still doing Let's Play Jak and Daxter, and it's just, you think going back to a game after so long, because it's been 10 years. It's been more than 10 years. It's been like 12 years since I played this game, right? And I've went back to it recently, and let me tell you, it's as good as you remember it. It's fucking better in some ways. It's so good. Like, no one probably feels the same way I feel about Jak and Daxter, but it's just so good. And they released Jak and Daxter Lost Frontier afterwards in 2009. I was like, oh yes, a new game, we've been waiting so long, and it was fucking shit. And that was like a cock slap from Naughty Dog. But here's hoping there's Jack 4 on the PS4. I've made a video about that, but it's just the nostalgia. It's just best game ever. Every time I hear the intro music or the menu music, it just takes me back to my childhood, and it's just, that'll always be the best game ever. That'll always be the best game ever to me. Nothing's ever gonna beat it. Jak and Daxter is my most nostalgic game ever made. Period. Ratchet and Clank can just suck a dick. It's second, yeah, but it's no Jak and Daxter. It's no Jak and Daxter by any means of the imagination.